Good afternoon to those on the platform.
Good afternoon, Chi.
You too. Good afternoon, honourable members. I see it's 2 o'clock and we are quorate, so let us begin. But before we start, may I extend
Recording
a
in
warm,
progress.
hearty welcome on this cold Wednesday to our Deputy Minister. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. I know both you and the Minister are very busy currently, and we thank you for taking time out to join us today. Colleagues, Mardia, could I ask that we please flight the agenda?
Do, Chair.
Thank you.
Chair, can we also just go, we've got one apology, Chair, if we can just, Chair, if we've got one apology, if we can maybe just go through the attendance quickly.
Perfect. That's why I wanted the agenda up. Welcome and apologies, and then consideration and adoption. Okay, there we have the agenda, colleagues. Mardia, can you share the apologies with us, please?
Yes, Chair, we have one apology from Honourable Dlamini.
Thank you very much. I have not received any, so could Honourable Dlamini's apology be noted, please? Members, the agenda has been flighted. It's in front of you, and I'm sure you can all see it. Could I please have a proposer and a seconder?
Chair, Member Modise, move for the adoption of the agenda with apologies. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honourable Modise. I see Honourable Pino's hand is up.
Thank you, Chairperson. I second Honourable Modise's proposal.
Thank you very much. Just for the sake of our Deputy Minister, Honourable Sithole, after point number 4, you are more than welcome to excuse yourself, but you are also welcome to remain on the platform, should you so wish. Colleagues, without any further ado, could I please ask the Deputy Minister for her inputs before we discuss the briefing by the Department of Small Business Development on the Spaza Shop Fund. Over to you, Honourable Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much, Chairperson of the Select Committee on Economic Development and Trade. With your permission, Chairperson, if I can keep my video off due to lower bandwidth, I will appreciate that. Thank you very much. We are here today. Thank you for that. And we are here, of course, today to give progress report on the Spaza Shop Support Fund that was launched. The DG is going to go through it in detail. She's also supported by other directors in the department that are involved with this particular issue. And we are here to tell the committee how it started, how we are doing, and where it's going, and also where there are areas of challenges, how are we mitigating that as the department to ensure that at the end of the day, South Africans who are meant to benefit, or those who are meant to benefit from this fund, it does reach them indeed. Honourable Chairperson, I am going to hand over to the department led by DG Manzini to then carry on with the presentation. And thank you very much.
The floor is yours, Honourable DG. DG? Mardia, can you just find out if the DG, oh, there it comes. Thank you.
Yes, Chair, the DG is still on the platform.
I can see the presentation. All the other members in accordance with it, can you all see it?
Yes, Chairperson.
Yes, Chair, I can see. No problem. Thank you, Chair.
DG, you can continue.
Chairperson,
If I may, this is Qinisile Delwa, DDG at DSBD. I'm aware that our DG currently has power failure, so I suspect that is the reason why she is not able to speak. But we did agree, should that eventuality happen, that I would proceed to make the presentation through you, Deputy Minister.
I see
Please
there's a
go
hand
ahead.
up, sorry, from Tulisile Manzini. Is that you speaking now?
This is the DG. I think she's now on the platform. If the hand is up, then she's now on the platform. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, DDG. DG, are you able to take us through the presentation?
Good afternoon, Chairperson, and all the members on the call, including our Deputy Minister. Like the DDG has said, I have power failure in my area, but I just wanted to indicate that I am here. I was struggling to speak so that I don't disturb the flow of the presentation. May I request, through your permission, if it's allowed, Chairperson and DM, for DDG to take us through, but I will be here and I'm accompanied by, from the department side, by the CEO of SETFA, and I also have the CIO, and myself and the DDG are on the call. Thank you very much, Chairperson, and thank you, DM.
Thank you, DG. Over to you, DDG.
Thank you, Chairperson. As requested, the department, together with SETFA, has prepared a presentation to brief the Select Committee about the implementation of the Spaza Shop Support Fund. A brief background, this fund was created in response to some of the challenges that are experienced by our Spaza shop, and it was a response really to try and deal with several issues, one of which being food safety, including improving competitiveness, strengthening locally owned Spaza shops, but also dealing also with issues of poor hygiene, competition from retail chains, and limited access to capital. The fund is designed to support Spaza shops with business refurbishment, wholesale aggregation, as well as non-financial support through training, regulatory compliance, and capacity building. Next slide. The fund objectives is really to achieve economies of scale by linking Spaza shops and food handling outlets to buying groups for bulk purchasing. We've spoken about the capacity building through training support so that we can improve, the Spaza shops can improve their operations in the shops, strengthening our South African-owned Spaza shops by enhancing their operational efficiencies and also enabling them to have access to competitive pricing. So I think we can move to the next slide. The fund structure. The fund is designed and structured in this way. There is a stock or grant to the value of 40,000 maximum. Then there is the assets and infrastructure, which is a blended grant and loan for upgrading of infrastructure, for refrigeration, for systems, for security, for shelving, speaking to the compliance issues. And then the third element is the non-financial support, or what we call business management training, which includes provision of point of sale devices, business skills and digital literacy, credit health, as well as food safety and business compliance capacity building. The qualifying criteria for the fund, we have said that the owner must be a South African or naturalized as a South African citizen prior to 1994. The owner of the Spaza shop must also be, the Spaza shop must be located in a township or a rural area. the Spaza shop must be registered with the local municipality in accordance with the bylaw of that municipality. We have observed some municipalities in terms of their bylaws require the Spaza shop owners to have business licenses, whilst others will allow Spaza shop owners to conduct their business with a permit as opposed to a business license. We do have a requirement that if the Spaza shop owner will be receiving funding above 80,000, that they register with the CIPC within a period of 6 months. Also, in terms of SARS, the business must have a SARS registration, but alternatively, they are allowed a 6 months transitional period. This includes income tax registration, as well as VAT registration if the business turnover exceeds the threshold set by SARS. Next slide. We also require that the Spaza shop must comply with all relevant legislation in terms also of food preparation and health and safety standards. We want the owner to be active in managing the Spaza shop and to ensure that the Spaza shop performs effectively and is in control of that. We do indicate that we will be, the fund is open to everyone, but we will be prioritizing youth, women, and people with disabilities. I think it's important to indicate that the CIPC and SARS registration process, we have enabled that the NEF and the SEDFA as the implementing agencies can facilitate those registration by the Spaza shop owners. Then we will move to the delivery approach for equitable distribution of the fund to targeted Spaza shops. The approach has been taken to use the delivery channel partner approach. In this approach, the DCPs, they act as intermediaries in a sense that they ensure the provision of stock, and also they provide enabling technology that is backed by traceable profiles and auditable delivery trail. The approach also provides for bulk buying, wholesale network opportunities that will enable Spaza shops to exploit the economies of scale and enjoy competitive pricing and packaging. Some of the advantages of the delivery channel partner approach is that there is going to be ease in onboarding new Spaza shops to the DCP platforms, as the DCP partners are already having experience of recruiting Spazas. There also is access to a ready cohort of Spazas that the partners have already been working with. The partners already have an access to a network of suppliers, including stock supplies of groceries, as well as value-added services and technology. Also, because of the enabling technology, it will make it easier for SEDFA to track and report as the purchases by the Spaza shops are done through a central system. Then in terms of accessing the fund, the Spaza shops can apply for the fund through the network of SIDFA offices. We have about 17 regional offices, 53 branches, 64 service access points, 23 co-location points with strategic partners. The SEDFA also has 2 mobile vans. So these SIDFA access points and co-locations were specifically established to extend access to SIDFA services in underserviced rural areas. Also, NEF, through their own infrastructure, will also be, through their offices, be enabling walk-ins for applications as the first point of call. The second available platform is online. There is an online platform which is accessible through both the SEDFA and the NEF portals. It is also linked to the system DSBD Connect, which is owned by the DSBD. So through that, also the Spaza shop owners can access the fund. We do have a call center available, as well as email for any issues and more information on the fund. Through also the municipal district offices, we have capacitated them so that they can also be able to assist applicants on a one-on-one basis with their applications as well as queries. We also in DSBD have about 52 business regulation officers which have been deployed across the country in the 52 districts. Their main task is to assist us with the geo-mapping of Spaza shops. But in addition to that, we have given them the responsibility to also assist Spaza shops to apply as they are doing the geo-mapping process. Then in terms of progress on implementation and rollout, 3 DCPs have been contracted and have been allocated to provinces. It's important to highlight that the 3 DCP's footprint extends across all provinces. The DCPs have integrated with wholesalers to service all Spaza shops, including in the rural areas. The DCPs have also completed the process of integrating their interfaces with the SIDFA portal and have commenced with the processing of applications. In terms of progress, in terms of the application, as of the 21st of May, when we finalized this presentation, we had a total of 3,873 applications that had been received to date through the portal. Also on our side, the back-end processing has commenced. We have elected to give equal distribution to SEDFA and NEF. Through this process, what we can confirm is that of the 3,873 applications at the time, 500 applications had been fully successfully processed and were ready for the second stage, which then means that they become allocated to the agency to process the application. What we have here is a breakdown of those applications in terms of the demographics, as well as the previously disadvantaged groups. We do have the Gauteng, followed by KZN and Free State, with the top number of applications that have been received. Other provinces as well, of course, are following. We do have about 790 of the applications being Black-owned, 351 female, and 386 youth-owned. We have about 38 of them as owned by persons with disability. What we are currently doing right now is awareness workshops, where our teams between ourselves and the DTIC are going across the country to hold awareness sessions in communities to bring more Spaza shops to know about the fund. The rollout is in 2 phases. It started on the 23rd of May. It will finish on the 6th of June, and then we will have another phase that will start on the 10th of June and conclude on the 1st of July. We are also leveraging other platforms where Spaza shops are, so that we can be able to also make sure that the information reaches as many Spaza shop owners as possible. I think I just need to also clarify here that of the 3,800 applications that are under process, the NEF and SEDFA are making sure that they engage with the applicants with the view so that they can be supported to conclude their applications. So that because we know that it might be possible that there are some issues related to some of the qualifying criteria that might be making it difficult for them to enable them to conclude. So that support is being directly provided to those Spaza shop owners. In terms of geo-mapping, as of the 21st of May, through the DSBD Connect, we have received about registration of 2,041 Spaza shops, and we had been able to geo-map about 1,411 of those. What this means is that we are able to link each person on the system to a location, which will make it much more possible for us to have a dashboard of all the Spaza shops in the country. In terms of the awareness workshops, this is really a schedule just to indicate how we are planning. We are focusing really on rural provinces and provinces with lower numbers in terms of applications. Next slide. I think just to speak to the governance of the fund, as the select committee members are aware, is a joint fund between ourselves and the DTIC. And then our delivery agencies are SEDFA and NEF. They have signed an MOU between the two of them to enable this work. We do have an oversight structure which meets on a weekly basis, chaired by the DDG of DSBD and the DDG of DTIC, and it is made up thereafter of the CEO of NEF as well as the CEO of SEDFA, supported by program managers from both SEDFA and NEF. This is just the platforms that are available to have direct access to the application. This brings me to the end of the presentation. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, DDG. Honourable members, we have now received the presentation and I'm calling for hands to see who would like to pose questions to the DGG. I have so far Honourable van den Berg, followed by Honourable Pinaar, and then Honourable Modise, and then Honourable Nodada, and after her will be Honourable Farmer. Oh, the hands are coming up now, followed by Honourable Sithole, and then Honourable Mabilu. In that order, Honourable van den Berg, you first to ask your questions. Over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon to everybody on the platform. Chairman, I have a couple of questions, but I actually need one question answered before I can actually ask the next question. It might be a bit difficult, but I would like to start with the DCPs that is going to supply the Spaza shops with products. And I need to know whether these beneficiaries will be compelled to only buy from these DCPs, and also who is going to pay for the DCP for the products. Is it coming directly from the fund, or will the Spaza shop owners make payments to the DCP themselves? Once this question is answered, then I can ask my next question. I thank you.
DDG, it's a valid question. Would you be able to answer it before Honourable van den Berg carries on with his other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, just to explain that the DCPs are actually the delivery partner. So what that means is that the SEDFA will be transferring the funds to the DCP, and then the DCP will be making sure that they have link a Spaza Shop owner to their system, through which the Spaza Shop owner can then request the stock that they require, and then the DCP will then dispatch the stock to the Spaza Shop owner. Just to re-emphasize that the stock, the initial stock of 40,000 rand is therefore a grant who the Spaza Shop owner, who would then proceed, we are hoping with the support to then run their business successfully, use that as a capital that they will build on that to further conduct their business. I hope that has clarified. So there is no direct funds that are going to the Spaza Shop owners. The Spaza Shop owners, once approved, will receive stock via the DCP. Thank you.
Thank you, DDG. Over to you, Honorable van den Berg.
Thank you, Chair. My next question, and the DGD did not answer the second part, and that is that if are they only allowed to buy from the DCP, or can they, for instance, also go to the local metro or the Sasco bread supplier that is coming around once a week to also buy their stock there? And then I also need to know which DCP is allocated to which province. I still have questions after this one, but if you can answer these for me, I would be very thankful.
DDG.
Thank you, Chair. For the purposes of the fund, the DCPs will be providing the stock to the Spaza Shop owners for the funds that would have been allocated to them through this fund. I'm trying to see if the colleagues from SEDFA are here to respond to the distribution of DCPs per province. I'm going to ask that if the colleagues can signal, I'm not sure if the CEO or the program manager is here to respond to that issue. But maybe while we finalize that, we will come back with the response on that one, Chairperson, with your permission, while we take other questions as well.
I'm here, DG.
All right. Oh, sorry.
Through
Thank you so much. Please proceed, Mr. Makupula.
All right. Thanks, DDG. Chairperson, this is Luandis Makupula from SEDFA. Just to add on what DDG is saying, we have the delivery channel partners that makes use of the wholesalers. And the reason we made a choice or we decided on these DCPs is because they already have a network of the wholesalers, and they get discounts, and those discounts will be transferred to the Spaza shops. Now the distribution now or the allocation of the delivery channel partners, it is in this manner, Chair, or these are the drivers. We were looking for the distribution channel partners or delivery channel partners that are already in existence, that already have a network, that already have infrastructure in certain provinces. And what we have done then, we said that distribution channel partner A is strong in KZN and Eastern Cape, and we allocated them in that manner. That's the allocation, Chair. And we're also looking at the resources. And we're also looking at the resources that they are having, Chair, in terms of the people and the staff. And we said, if we are giving distribution channel partner A so much, it means that will be good in that province. That's the allocation, Chair. And in each, there is no distribution channel partner that has because we have three. One has received Eastern Cape and KZN due to the size of those provinces and the spatial distribution of the spazas in rural areas. But the other is having 3 and the other one is having 4. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much for the background information. Does that satisfy you, Honourable van den Berg?
Chair, thank you. I have a next question regarding that. I need to make sure if there is one DCP per Spaza shop. That is a very important question to my next question. If they can just specify to me if it's one supplier per Spaza shop.
DDG or SEDFA?
Correct, Chair.
Okay, Honourable van den Berg, he says that's correct.
Right. So in that case, Chair, if there's one supplier per Spaza shop, it means that we have effectively taken out fair trade and competition out of the equation. And therefore, I need to know if the Department of Business Development, have they got a service level agreement with the DCP? And if so, are they regulating the delivery cost, fees, and the markups associated with these products? I have a question after this one too. Thank you.
Okay, can you ask the next question, please? Otherwise, we're not going to get through the program if they have to answer every question individually.
Thank you, Chair. This one is very important, the one I've just asked, and then I will sit back, and after this question, then I will fall back into the line. Thank you.
Okay, DDG or SEDFA, whoever takes that question.
Thank you, Chair. Let me start again, Chair. I think I misunderstood the member. We have a distribution channel partner. There is one distribution channel partner per Spaza shop. But each distribution channel partner or delivery channel partner is having a number of wholesalers, the distributors now of the ultimate product. So it's not one wholesaler that is responsible for distribution to Spaza A, because one wholesaler may be good in sardine and we may be getting a better discount on sardines, but when it goes or when it comes to the next product, it could be supplier B, and they take into account the suppliers that are already in the network, the suppliers that are closer to the end users or the Spaza shops. Thank you, Chair.
Honourable van den Berg, I hope that satisfies you.
Chair, I'm sorry, but the speaker did not answer the question. The question was, if the department has got a service level agreement with this DCP, and if so, what are the markups that DCP can add to the products that they are buying from the wholesalers, and what is the delivery cost going to be towards the Spaza shop? Because they have effectively taken away the Spaza shop's ability to source for the best priced product. Thank you.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but we'll have to stop it there because we have now spent the last 12 minutes on one question only. Is there a possibility that you could put it in writing to the department, or do you want that answer right now?
I would really appreciate the answer. After that, I will stand back and let the rest of the members ask questions.
Okay, that he can answer at the end when everybody else has asked their questions because you're not going to do a follow-up on the answer. Can I cross over to Honourable Pienaar, please?
Thank you. Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, good morning, colleagues, DGs, Deputy Minister. All right, so I'm going to try to be brief as possible, but I've got quite a few concerns I want to raise, Chairperson. So you refer to them as DCPs, and you stated clearly there are three. So in fact, you've created a monopoly for these Spaza shops. Now, you call them DCPs, I'm going to call them middlemen. And I want my colleagues to also realize that these three middlemen, it's only three of them who will supply every single Spaza shop in the entire country. These three of them will receive basically a credit from government of 40,000 Rand. And the Spaza shop will then have 40,000 Rand credit at this DCP. Now, this creates a lot of problems I can already see. Because the actual money will never reach the Spaza shops. They have a credit at the DCP where they can order stock from. Now, like my Honourable Van der Berg also clearly pointed out, you're taking the ability away from the Spaza shop owner to decide where he wants to buy. And I want to know, I'm quite curious, Chairperson, why these three DCPs, or middlemen as I like to call them, are not named in this presentation. There are only three of them. Was it gazetted? Was it advertised? How did you decide on these three middlemen for this 500 million Rand? Obviously, Chairperson, this is going to be a one-time assistance for Spaza shops. So there's some programs, some learning programs, some stock buying programs. But at the end of the day, it's a one-time. Here's 40,000 Rand. There you go. Make the best you can. My concern is, Chairperson, in 5 years' time, we will see a lot of the illegal Spaza shops overtaking again in exactly where the same now. I think this is comparable to maybe a bank for shops who are
Honourable
struggling to
Pienaar,
the market.
Honourable Pienaar, Honourable Pienaar, sorry. Could you please switch off your video?
Yes, Chairperson.
Thank you.
Apologies. I'm worried that this is going to be like a bailout, Chairperson, and in 3 years' time, we're going to be exactly at the same position where we have struggling Spaza shops and illegal Spaza shops overtaking them, because this is a one-time offer that they can receive from government and these middlemen. One very thing that doesn't make any sense to me, Chairperson, and how the DGs and the minister decided on this, is why did they make the CIPC and the tax registration compulsory? You're stating in your report it's not compulsory, but there's a 6 month waiting period or timeline where you can apply afterwards. My worry is, if a Spaza shop, for example, has already received the goods and services of this 40,000 Rand, what's forcing them to then register for tax and CIPC? And if they don't do that, are you going to take back the stock? Why is this not compulsory? This is a basic business sentiment that should be in place. It should be compulsory to be tax registered and to be registered with CIPC. Every single week, we are complaining as government that we need to increase our tax base. But then we have this great opportunity to get more people registered for tax, and we're not making it compulsory. Why is the government not demanding that it must be compulsory, not a 6 months delay? Before you can apply, you must be tax compliant with regards to tax registration and CIPC registration. This is a very basic thing. I do not understand why this clause was left out like this with a 6 month delay, because you have no powers after you give me to introduce register with CIPC and tax. Then the delivery part, payment, how did you choose? Obviously, again, how did you choose these middlemen? I want all those records of the gazetted documents, all this. I'm worried that we are state creating another monopoly, Chairperson. Chairperson, yeah, that's a short limit.
Honorable Modise.
Thank you so much, Chairperson, and good afternoon to all honorable members and colleagues from the department led by the Deputy Minister and the DG. Chairperson, by nature, I'm a very optimistic person who normally like to see things happening and being part of the solution as opposed to criticizing all the time. And the tax shops, I'm sure all of us would agree that they are the lifeblood of the township economy, whether be it formal or informal. And like Honorable Farmer Chair, when I speak, I like to quote or indicate which slide am I referring to, whether it's slide 1 or 17. But now I've got the difficulty because from the presentation I have, I think I've got 2 or 3 slides that are numbered 1 number. So it's like slide 2, it is 3 times or 4 times. I don't know whether it's mine alone or this is how the slides were numbered. Be that as it may be, Chair. As of March 2025, a research by a trade intelligence has estimated that South African spaza shops or formal and informal businesses in the township, it's around 197 billion, and that there are about 11 point something million people that make use of that business, and there are about 150,000 to 200,000 spaza shops in and around South Africa. And we are given the numbers here that have applied formally to be assisted with stock and so on and so forth. And the numbers, Chair, if I remember correctly from the report I read, they are not. It's not even about 5,000. Now, I'm sitting here and I'm wondering and I'm asking myself, if we have about 200,000 spaza shops in South Africa, and we only have about 3,000 or 5,000 of them, or spaza shop owners having applied to be assisted, does it mean the number that have not applied is spaza shops that are owned by foreign nationals? And the criteria says here, only South Africans and those that have been naturalized prior to 1994. So meaning everyone and anyone after 1994, whether naturalized or not, could not and will not benefit from this 500, is it 500 million or 500 billion? Now the question is, Chair, are we not wondering, are we not worried as to why so much a number of people have not applied? Where are these people that are running these tax shops? And you know, my greatest concern, Chair, and I'm saying this in conclusion because I don't have a question, it's just a concern for me. And probably I'll have questions when the minister is here as we move forward with this thing, because I don't think this is the last time we engage on this thing, because there's so much that is happening. I can tell you for free, Chair, that all these wonderful things that the department wants to do with their partners, both Department of Small Business and Department of DTIC and everyone else, the entities that are involved in trying to resolve the problems that we find in the spaza shops, in our communities, especially when you take into consideration the number of people that would have perished through these tax shops and the uproar that would have came with it. At the end of the day, Chair, in whatever we want to do, if we do not involve the local municipality, nothing will happen, because these are the people that are expected to drive the bylaws. And for every tax shop to operate, Chair, within any jurisdiction of this country needs a local municipality. And municipality's role here is very minimal. Even in the presentation, they only speak on the municipality as part of the requirement for one to operate the shop. But moving forward, the municipality has no role, none whatsoever. And these are some of the shops that will sell you your I don't know what you call it in English, but ikota, I don't know what to call it, but it's like your staple township food. Igwinya, I'm told it's called fat cake. And these are food that are handled and are processed daily. But the municipality is not involved in ensuring that whatever that is distributed from the abbreviations, because we learn these abbreviations every day, one will end up being mad if we were to keep up with these abbreviations. But if the delivery, Tonton, I forgot what is called that thing, delivery something. If the municipality has no role in ensuring that the cake flours, the sugars that are delivered to these food processing tuck shops are indeed of quality, they still have a proper lifespan and so on and so forth, we're going to be subjected to a number of people getting sick. These Zimba chips that we eat in the township, packed in a plastic, you can buy them for 50 cents, 1 rand, as opposed to buying a pack of knickknacks, which is about 11 rand. So you get to have a taste of what the knickknacks taste like. And they are packed next to the detergents, they are packed next to the red tags and matubula and all of that. And when you eat them, you get sick. The municipality has to have a role, Deputy Minister. You have to engage with municipalities. You must sit down with the MMCs responsible for local economic development. You must sit down with the executive mayors. You must sit down with MECs of provinces responsible for economic development and ensure that strict measurement are taken into consideration, are put in place in order to ensure that everything is seamless. But at the end of the day, Chair, my primary concern is the number of application against the number of people that are operating tuck shops. Now, if we agree here now that there are about 200,000 tuck shops in South Africa and only about 5,000 of them have applied, we're technically saying 195,000 tuck shops of South Africa are run by foreign nationals who would, like or not, will not have been in South Africa prior to 94. Majority of them will have came to South Africa towards the mid-90s, early 2000 and now. And these are the people that are running the tuck shop. It therefore means we are not going to make a dent in the informal or formal businesses, especially in the township. And that is my primary concern, Chair. And I would love, and I will write it, I will put it in writing that there must be a commitment from the department that from time to time, Chair, when we meet, this information that must come, whether we're dealing with the issue of tuck shops or not, they must continue updating us on the latest development with regards to the applications and so on and so forth. Because I don't want to believe that only 3,000 of the whole South Africa could have applied, or 5,000 of them could have applied. Two things for me: it means the message did not filter accordingly, or the process on itself it's entirely complicated. And I would love to see if the DDG or the DDG is able to flight the application form so that we can see exactly what is it that they're looking for this tax shop to be able to apply for them to be assisted with these things. Thank you very much for the indulgence.
Thank you, Honorable Modise. Honorable Nodada.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good afternoon to you and the honorable members, Deputy Minister, and the department as a whole, and everyone in the platform. Chair, I'm not going to be long. Some of the issues that I'm going to touch on, Honorable Modise has touched, like the involvement of the municipality, because the municipalities are core to this, because whenever the department or the DCPs or whoever is not there, municipalities are amongst the people. So they are always going to make sure that they make oversight and see if these Spaza shops are run according to the way they should be run. The other thing, Chair, which is not a question, I just want to check from the department is it possible for it to provide us with the spreadsheet of the distribution to provinces, because we are those people that comes from provinces. I would want a situation where I'm told in the rural areas where I stay, there are these Spaza shops that are furnished with assistance. Then we are able also, even we are at home in our provinces, to oversight these Spaza shops and see if what we supposed to have been happening there is happening. So I'm saying, if it is possible, can we be furnished with a spreadsheet of the places, areas, especially where these Spaza shops are assisted for the purposes of oversight. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Nodada. Honourable Farmer.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I leave my video off. Also, anticipating a bandwidth problem. But actually also, I'm going to be very animated on this side, and I don't want you to see this. Chairperson, I have 6 questions. And I'm pretty sure based on the answers that I will be receiving on them, I will have comebacks on each and every one of them. My first question is the registrations of Spaza shops with local municipalities versus foreign-owned shops. The problem that we had at the time was the dying of children based on what they buy at these Spaza shops. And then it was decided upon registration. Now I need to know, or my question is, to what extent did the choice to go to registering of Spaza shops, what impact did it have on the problem that we were having of foreign-owned Spaza shops, close to 2 per street or even more? My second question is, how does the applications received measure up to registered Spaza shops? In other words, the registration or the applications received for funding versus the registration of Spaza shops at the municipalities. For instance, did we get 100,000 registrations and only receive 3,000 applications for funding? Or how did that play out? My third question would be the DCPs, the use of existing companies. When I was sitting in the meeting where the Spaza shop was explained to us as a committee by the minister, I expected that the whole process will be business opportunities for unemployed South Africans. Now, DCPs are identified and being used as existing companies that already have the necessary infrastructure or the linkages with suppliers and stuff. No, that is now something new to me. So I just want to explain. Number 4, now that we have registered Spaza shops, did those that's unregistered still, are they now being closed down or not, or what? The reason why I'm asking that question is because municipalities refuse to close them down. And they just say, but it's not their responsibility. So what was the purpose for registering if others not registering are allowed to continue to do business? My first question would be more closer to home. It's actually the same question, but it's more in a Western Cape sense. How did applications for funding, how does it add up to the amount of registrations received? Let me stand there, and take you to your presentation on page 7. You give us a page, a table called demographics of applications. You are saying that the total amount of applications received is 3,837. And then the last province shown is Western Cape, only 38 applications received. 38 Spaza shops that applied out of the Western Cape to me sounds extremely low. I can tell you, out of the 6 district municipalities in that province or in the Western Cape, the West Coast alone, the 1 district municipality alone, have 10 times more Spaza shops than the applications you've received for the whole of the province. So either there's a number of applications that were unsuccessful for some reason, I don't know, or there's a huge number that did not apply for funding, or a lot of them just don't know of the funds availability. Let's stay on the page. You must please make light of the situation. 3,837 applications received. Black owned 790. According to your slide 7, 3,047 applications was from white owned Spaza shops, according to this slide. Please just tell me that's not the case. Furthermore, the 3 DCPs that you've identified, according to this slide, total stock, 28.095 million. There is close to 10 million per DCP already. So whose friend is who in this DCP sense? Okay, my last question, Chair. Your slide shows 9 provinces, which I know for a fact we only have 9. But then the first row before Eastern Cape, above Eastern Cape is open, and there it says 2,998 submissions. I don't know what that is, but it seems as if that 2,900 is add up with those of the province and then comes to the 3,800. But please explain that to me. And 43 of the 2,900 is black owned. No. This thing is making me more dear Makar than I'm already is. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Farmer. Honourable Sithole.
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson. Greetings to your good self and the Deputy Minister and DDG and honourable members on the platform. I don't have questions. Mine is just comments, because one of the questions that I wanted to pose, Honourable Nodad has already covered it, regarding all the provinces that have been assisted. If we can be finished with where exactly in those provinces, it will be great. Now, I welcome the presentation. It then says that we must have a functioning local municipalities, such as the waste collection must be done, issues of the sewer spillages, if we want to avoid what Honourable Modise have raised in terms of kids buying things there and started to get sick. And we know how the infrastructure is, especially in our locality. And then another issue that I wanted to comment on the issue of the CIPC, that once people start to register their businesses, Honourable Chairperson, it then says that if you are operating in a residential area, it automatically changes to a business area, and then the rent goes up. and our people needs to be given an information regarding this, because we know, all of us, that in the municipality they've got this thing of a flat rate to say that we charge you maybe 100 rand is a flat rate, but when you, because it's a residential, but when it changes to a business, then it becomes more. Now I've got another one here, because in Kuma, where I'm from, in Stelfontein, we've got a place that is called a new village. People that are staying there, it was supposed to be a temporary settlement for them, they ended up staying there for now it's 10 years. They've got Spaza shops there also, but they don't have your, what is this, water and lights, what is this thing, the residential address. They only uses the letter from the councillor that says that she or he stays there. Now I'm asking the department here if are they going to be catered for also, because I know very well when you go this kind of information, municipalities, they tend to call our people into towns and give them the information. They don't go directly to a location so that the information can be shared to our people, so that they must know that there is this kind of things. Now, what I'm going to ask the department is that they need to monitor this very closely, because I'm worried about this 40,000 that people are going to get, especially after registration. If it's not monitored very well, it's not going to get this 40,000. And really, our people, they need this, because in our locations, we've got this Pakistanians, the Indians, Spaza Shop. It's only few Black people. Now, with this initiative, it means that more Black people are going to have, or are going to run businesses as they used to run them. Now, those are only my comments, Honorable Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Sithole. Honorable Mabilo.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, the DM, DG, and the team. I think I want to join my colleagues by appreciating the presentation. I'll make 2-3 comments, and then I'll ask 2 to 3 questions. My first comment, Honorable Chair, DG, and the team, is that this is a strategic intervention that should be welcomed by all of us and to be supported. It is unprecedented, and for me, this will be a huge boost. And I share the concerns of the colleagues that this process must not be left to chance. Otherwise, it will defeat the entire objective and purpose. So therefore, the question of monitoring is very important as raised. But for me, it will be the question of performance in order to ensure that indeed the owners improve the situation, they expand and become sustainable business persons or entrepreneurs. That would be my my comment. Now, with regard to my questions, the first question will be the question of health and safety training. My colleagues have raised the issue of the risks involved and the experience that we have had in the past, including even larger companies like Tiger Brands. Some years ago, there was the outcry of the Polonis, technical term raised as lestonosis or whatever it was. So the question of health and safety training becomes paramount. I just want to check my first question. DG, DM, is this matter being considered? I know that's not your call, but in terms of partnership with the relevant departments like health, inspectors at local government election, municipality election. The first question of health and safety. Is it going to feature in your training, in your advocacy, in your workshops, etc.? 2, I did not get it clear. What is the turnaround time for responses for the following categories of applications? 1, what is the turnaround time for work-in applications? 2, for digital application. 3, what is the turnaround time for the call centers? That would be my questions. Now, regarding public works and public awareness and workshop and information sessions, I'm not presumptuous, Honorable Chair, but the risk involved is that fronting and exploitation can be a result of an unintended consequence. I just want to check, have you thought about it? Because the current situation in the townships is that you've got a cartel of foreign-owned Spaza shop. One owner owns about 30 or 40 tuck shops. And now with the vulnerability of our communities, they can be exploited to front and apply, etc. If there's no point in you or having not been prepared for that scenario, my recommendation would be to say that the teams that go out must critically look into it, maybe as part of the information session, to say that this is the objectives thereof is to empower the locals. And therefore, an upfronting should be an affront. It should be discouraged. But overall, Honorable Chair, I am comfortable with the presentation. And as Honorable Matisi and the others have raised, we must get regular updates. Thank you very much for the time and opportunity. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mabilu. Before I ask my questions, DDG, please just make note of the requests with regard to updates. We in the NCOP do not have the pleasure of meeting with you on a weekly basis. So reports would be welcomed. These can be sent to the Secretariat. And then with regard to the provincial spreadsheets, that would also be welcomed, as we are in Parliament to serve our provincial interests. Now, if I can ask some questions, if you have a look at the geographic inequity in the applications, it's very worrisome to me that the bulk of applications are from Gauteng. And we know this fund was meant or established to benefit rural and township economies across the country. I'd like to know what proactive steps has your department taken to ensure equitable access across all provinces? And could you also inform me whether rural provinces are being left behind due to maybe poor outreach or infrastructural challenges? And then I don't see in the report any clear indication of how successes will be measured. If you could indicate to me whether performance indicators are in place to assess whether this 500 million fund is actually revitalizing South African-owned Spaza shops. And then furthermore, you mentioned municipal support. Yet we all know that many municipalities lack clear business licensing processes and or capacity. Has any specific engagements taken place with SALGA and individual municipalities to streamline licensing and compliance support? especially in cases where delays in licensing may disqualify Spaza shop owners from accessing the fund. And then with regard to anti-corruption and fund misuse safeguards, we've seen in the past the troubling history of small business funds being exploited by unscrupulous officials and politically connected individuals. Can you please tell the committee what specific anti-corruption mechanisms have been built into the administration of the Spaza Shop Support Fund to prevent misuse for personal gain? Then let me just go down. All right. Then I'd also like to know, DDG, tongue twister. Are you able to provide the committee with a list of municipalities that have demonstrably aligned their local licensing processes with the Spaza Fund's requirements, and what consequences, if any, are in place for those failing to do so? Now, with regard to the amalgamation of CIFA and CEDA, can you, let's just have a look here. What measurable impact has this had, the amalgamation, on the speed and efficiency of service delivery to small businesses, particularly in relation to disbursement delays under programs like the Spaza Shop Fund? And then what specific IT and administrative integration challenges have emerged from merging CIFA and CEDA systems? And what assurances can you give us with regard to data integrity, financial oversight, and program monitoring that have not been compromised during this process? Now, with regard to the contact points, DGD, you say there are 150 SEDFA contact points and mobile units deployed to improve rural access. Why does the data then reflect a clear skew towards Gauteng applications, as I said in my first question? Considering the critical role of geomapping in identifying and supporting Spaza shops, DDG, would you be able to provide detailed statistics? This can be in writing because statistics are difficult to know offhand, on the number of shops successfully geomapped by SEDFA to date. Additionally, how has this data been utilized to enhance the effectiveness of the Spaza Shop Support Fund, particularly in ensuring equitable access across various regions? Now, Honorable Mabilu spoke about the fronting, and I'm also very worried about fronting, and I'd like to know what concrete mechanisms has your department put in place to detect and prevent fronting, where South African acts as a proxy for a foreign national to unlawfully access the Spaza Shop Fund, and how many such cases have been flagged, investigated? Thank you very much. Over to you, DGG.
Thank you, Chairperson and the honorable members. Obviously, the colleagues who are also on the call will assist with some of the questions as well to respond. But maybe let me start and then hand over to the colleagues as well. I think a number of members have asked the question about the relationship of the number of applications for the fund vis-a-vis the numbers that were communicated by the Minister of cooperative governance in his capacity as the chair of the interministerial under the net joints when we were dealing with the foodborne poisoning issues. So maybe I think it's important to clarify our role as DSBD in that work. So when the process of registration was closed in February, then what DSBD was tasked with is to verify the numbers and geolocate the Spaza shops, which is the process that is currently unfolding. The process entails the DSBD receiving databases from all the municipalities, and those databases will have the name, the ID, and the location in terms of address of a Spaza shop owner, so that then the respective business regulation officers then use these spreadsheets, and that is what then we will be doing to now verify that with a geolocation. That process is ongoing and has not been concluded because it is quite an intensive process, noting that most municipalities do not have electronic licensing systems. So the systems are manual. And so for them to give us the data, it is taking longer than we would have wished, because we are quite keen to conclude that process. Once that process is concluded, we would then be able to then report to the IMC and then have definite numbers in terms of what we know as Spaza shops who have come forward to register, who have given credible information that we would have subsequently geomapped, and then we have a database of some sort. So that was the responsibility of DSBD working with COGTA. In the same committee, there are law enforcement entities who are still continuing with making sure that they enforce compliance, working with local municipalities. So the enforcement work teams still go out to go and inspect Spaza shops, and where there is non-compliance, they deal with that in terms of the law, in terms of non-compliance. So I just thought, let me clarify that point. Now, what this database is also assisting us with, because the criteria for qualifying for the fund includes a business license or a permit, we are then sharing these databases with the NEF and SEDFA so that they are able to verify the license number or the permit number for them to approve the application of the Spaza shop. So there is that relationship between the process of registering and how it is assisting us with processing applications for the Spaza Shop Fund. We are worried with the number of applications that we have received. Hence, the intensive awareness campaign that we have undertaken. I must indicate to the committee chair that over and above the awareness campaigns that we are doing as DSBD and DTIC, the municipalities themselves are hosting the Spaza Shop Fund awareness campaigns, because it is not possible for the DSBD and DTIC to go everywhere in the country. We do get requests from them, where then we send one official to go and present, because at the beginning of this process, we did hold a number of training sessions for LED officials in local municipalities so that they could understand the fund, and they could explain the fund. Also, we took them through training on how to support Spaza Shop owners to apply for the fund. So that process also tries to make sure that as many other government entities as possible are supporting this work. This is, of course, under the MINMEC and the NEF Center, which was established, which includes MECs of economic development in all the provinces, as well as MECs of COCTA, because we are fully aware that it cannot be done by DSBD and DTIC alone. We need to work with the provincial MECs of both these departments because of the interrelated nature of the project. Now, maybe to come to the support to dealing with the business licensing. I think the committee is aware that the DSBD is responsible for the Business Act, which is the act that governs the business licensing in municipalities. This act is currently under review, but as part of our assessment, where we have noticed significant numbers in terms of registration, it correlates with the existence of an electronic licensing system. Hence, in our new annual performance plan, one of our key targets is to support municipalities to adopt e-registration, e-licensing, e-business licensing system. And the approach has been to start with those provinces that currently do not have at all, such as the Northern Cape. That is where our first workshop will be starting, but we will be inviting other provinces as well. And we are using provinces like KZN and Western Cape who have these systems so that they can benchmark from that, and then we can support to improve the business licensing environment overall. Then maybe if I can then come to the issue that has been raised about us providing reports. I think we can be able to do that, to make sure that on a regular basis, we do provide a progress report in relation to the Spaza Shop Fund and its implementation. I must just indicate my apology about the slide numbering, which I noted as it was being raised, which we regret. I think it must have been a technical issue. We really regret that. But I think also on the slide on the demographics, there is also a technical challenge there, in that when the system was, when the colleagues were consolidating, the system did not pick it up. So it is because the most of the applications are in process. So as the person is doing the application, if they have not been able to click, by the time they conclude their application, they must have been able to reflect that. And that is why the number is only reflecting those who have already ticked whether they are raised. And that's the issue there. But Chair, let me allow then the Chief Investment Officer, Mr. Makupula, to also come in and respond to the other issues that have been raised. Over to you, Lwandis.
Thanks, DDG. Chair, I will start on the points that have been made by Honorable Modise. Yes, it's correct. We have about 150,000 spazas out there, and we're talking about an economy of 178 billion annually. But just to add on that, Chair, only 8%, 0.8, of that is controlled by the South Africans. In fact, Somalians, they own about 58%, and I think Ethiopians are owning about 25%. I'm getting, Chair, to the question of where are the other ones, because the project that we are running is only targeting South Africans. So not all of that 150,000 that is out there is eligible to apply. We only targeting South Africans, Chair. I hope that covers that point. But moving on and to add on what DDG has already indicated, the concentration now, there's too much concentration of the applicants in Gauteng than in our desired provinces. We desire to have more of the rural areas, Chair. But if you look at the Spaza shops themselves, Chair, they're more in townships. If you go to a township like Soweto, which is the biggest, Chair, and to me, it indicates exactly why are we having more numbers in Gauteng. Soweto alone, without going to Soshanguve, without going to Mamelodi and many other townships around the province, there's a number of Spaza shops. Hence, the applications or the number of applications that appear to be skewed more towards Gauteng. But we are not resting on our laurels, Chair. DDG has already indicated that we are doing activation. We have road shows. There is a shared program that can be shared. Then on the sustainability, or rather, Chair, on the KPIs, it is the sustainability, because the very objective of this program is to ensure that there is a fair participation of South African-owned Spaza shops. And for us to get to that, we must fund them and they must be sustainable. And how are we ensuring, Chair, that we're trying to get towards that? We're not only giving them stock, we're giving them stock and tools. And those are the very same tools, Chair, that help them in many ways. And that is the tool. I'm getting to the practices now. That is the tool that indicates that item X has been in the shelf for so long and item Y has reached the expiry date. So those are the practices, Chair, that we are also trying to put in. So those tools are very important. Hence, we are saying we're giving them stock as well as tools. And on the anti-corruption, Chair, we are running, and I take the inputs from the members, but we are also running a conditional grant. It's a conditional grant in the sense that if it is not applied for the intended purposes, it converts into being a loan. And over and above, still on the anti-corruption, where we suspect there is an anti-corruption, we ensure that we perform an enhanced due diligence. On the speed and efficiency, as a result of the measure, we have already observed that, but me being an official, maybe I'm not the right person to talk about that, but we used to have SETA running incubators out there and we'll be running our funding on the other side. Right now, we ensure that the graduation or the graduates rather from the incubators, they stand a fair chance of being funded. So that's efficiency to me immediately. Funding, it is a big problem, Chair, but at least everyone knows that the DTIC has promulgated the funding to be a crime. We ensure that we do our bit, Chair, in terms of educating the users and everyone in the value chain. And Chair, we're not dumping stock into the end users. We have a project implementation team that is doing the monitoring, that is looking also at the problems that are being encountered there. Because, Chair, if you look at the 8% that I'm talking about versus 150%, versus 150,000, we're not gonna go too far. And we knew when we're taking this project, Chair, that we're not gonna go too far. But what we wanted to do in the main was to test, was to pilot, was to move a needle. Even if we move it by 1 or 2 inches, it is okay. So, Chair, those are the things that we are doing on our side. Let me talk about the municipalities, Chair. They are involved to a greater extent. In fact, no application gets approved without a permit. Right now, Chair, what we're presenting to you is the number of applications that are already on the system, but most of them they've got there, but they don't have a permit, and we don't want to run this program without the municipalities. But the point that now I'm taking from the members, they say we must continue to have an ongoing relationship with the municipalities to ensure that it's not only the permits that is received from the municipality, is the permit as well as other support that we could receive from the municipalities. I'll pause there, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Makupula. Before I end off, I just want to say to you, Mr. Makupula, in the rural areas, Spaza shops are the absolutely bloodline, the life of the people in the very, very rural areas. Now, many of us come from rural areas, and we have seen what it's like for our people not having access to the funds that you now speak of. And they are saying that these road shows that you speak of just doesn't reach them. The information doesn't reach them. And we really need to see more being done in our very rural areas, and not give an answer saying that the concentration of Spaza shops are more in the metros. That just doesn't go down well with us. And then I also want to ask Honorable Modise. He's just written something to me, and I would also like him to take it through with you. We've got enough time to have him address it, and I see Honorable Mabilo and Honorable Pina also have follow-up questions. And then with regard to Honorable van den Berg, the service level agreement question that he posed to you and the markup regulations for the partners, that question has not been answered yet. So before you answer, could I hand over to Honorable Mabilo, Honorable Pinar, and Honorable Modise just for their last follow-up questions? Thank you. Okay, I see Honorable Mabilo's hands down.
No, I'm fine. That was a legacy end.
Okay, fine. Honorable Pinar and then Honorable Modise.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I'm deeply disappointed as a select committee member here today who's supposed to be providing oversight on this entity. And not one of my questions was answered, not even one, not even attempted to answer the question. And I will repeat them then if I'm allowed, Chair. So everybody's clear what my question is, because very simple questions. I want to know, who are the DCP partners, the middlemen? I want the 3 names of the 3 companies who've been allocated to supply the nation's Spaza shops. And why were they not listed in your report? Because I want to scrutinize these middlemen, Chairperson. Then I want to know Secondly, why is CIPC registration not compulsory? Why are they given a 6 months grace period before, after they've applied for the fund? Secondly, or thirdly, why is tax registration not compulsory? They are also given a 6 months grace period. And the reason I'm asking that question specifically about tax is we're already struggling with regards to our tax income as a country. That's funding every single thing. Now, our tax base is decreasing, not increasing. This is a great opportunity to ensure we can collect taxes on these individuals. Why is that not compulsory? Chairperson, those I can go on, but none of my questions were answered, and I'm struggling to understand if nobody's making notes on the side of the department. But not one question was answered. Thank you, Chairperson.
Honourable Pino, yes, thank you very much. I picked that up and I'm also very concerned about it. And I see Honourable Farmer's hand up, and I am of the opinion that his questions have also not been answered in full. Honourable DDG and Mr. Makupuela, this is just not on. This is public money that is going to be utilized for the Spaza Shop Fund. And we need concrete answers from you, not slapdash, hello, goodbye answers to our questions. Before, again, in allowing you to answer all the questions that was posed, I'm going to allow Honourable Farmer. I see his hand is up, and then Honourable Modise. After Honourable Farmer, your question that you submitted to me via SMS, you can pose that. Thank you.
Chairperson, yeah, I was kicked off for some reason at some stages, so I don't know which answers was actually answered or not.
Very little were answered.
I'm pretty sure of that because the pieces I've heard, my answers didn't come through. Thank you, Chair.
Honourable Modise.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. You know, at times these virtual meetings are not assisting, man. And you can hear the frustration from Honourable Pina's voice and the concern from Honourable Farmer's voice in relation to the responses that we're getting against the arrangement and the setup of meeting. I don't think it's conducive, especially when we deal with such sensitive issues, Chair. I always prefer that we sit in the room, we look each other eye to eye, face to face, so that we can see even the facial expression and the body language. It's also a reply on its own when questions are being posed. Now we can't see anything, and then we don't know whether the pain that we are feeling is the same pain that the officials are feeling, whether it's the same pain that the deputy minister and the minister are feeling. Because you are quite right, Chair. We come from different provinces, and in our provinces, we come from different areas in the provinces. Some of these areas might be considered metropolitan, some of them might be considered semi, and others might be considered rural. And the unfortunate part is that we are here to represent those people, whether rural, semi-rural, semi-urban, and urban or metropolitan. And reality of the matter is that, Chair, the responses that we are receiving are not adequate. Adequate in the sense that we can take them back to our constituencies in the coming Monday and say to them, this is what is happening and this is where we are. If I don't know whether it's a DTG or not, the gentleman that was speaking just before now agrees that there are more than 150,000 Spaza shops in South Africa that contributes almost 180 billion annually in the country, with 8% of it being controlled by South Africans. And then I want to believe if it's 180 billion, 10% of 180 billion will be what? 18 billion, I suppose. I'm not sure with my maths. Is running away from me. But the reality of the matter is that if that is the case, and the control of the economy is in the hands of the foreign nationals, whether legally or illegally in the country, it's a concern for me. But more than anything, Chair, I still don't want to believe that South Africa with 9 provinces, and 9 provinces in the main with people that are living beyond the poverty line, we can only have 3,000 tuck shops or 3,000 plus Spaza shop owners applying for assistance from government. I don't want to believe that. And I have not heard the response that speaks to the marketing or the communication thereof that says to those who want assistance from government, come, this is what we want to do. What type of communication were we engaged on? What type of marketing did we engage ourselves in? Did we utilize your mainstream media, as in your radio stations that are listened by those who have, and as opposed to the local community radio stations, local newspapers, and so on and so forth? And Chair, I want to suggest, and I'm not asking the department to respond to these things now, but if it's allowed, Chair, I want to suggest that maybe we make a follow-up. The next session that we have, Madia, must not be any other department, must not be any other issue. It must be this issue, and the meeting must be physical. And all these things that we are raising that we say have not been responded to before the presentation takes place must be the issues that are responded to, so that the spreadsheet that Honorable Farmer was speaking about, we have a proper inclination of what is happening in our communities. How much these 3 companies that member Pinar is speaking to, how much of each company is going to get in terms of this 500 billion or 500 million that was made available? So, and where are they located, these 3 companies? In which provinces are they located? Who are the real owners of these companies? Their demographics, their age, their gender, and so on and so that when we go out there and advocate for the support of the Department of Social Development and the Department of Trade and Industry and Competition, including their entities, we speak of something that we can take account of. As I speak to you now, Chair, I am afraid that there is no information that I can take back to my constituents. If I were to go to Soweto today, if I were to go to the Vaal or West Rand or Tshwane or Eguril, I don't know what I'm going to say to them in relation to this process of registration of tax shop. And yes, Chair, it can never be correct that the concentration of the tax shop that have applied are in Gauteng against 9 provinces. I don't want to believe that should have been the case. If it is what they have in their offices, it's well and good, but that should not have been the case. So maybe when we come back, they must give us their marketing strategy. The presentation must be on the marketing strategy. How much was spent on the marketing strategy? Which media houses and what type of medium was used to market this process of government, outside the fact that it was launched. I think it was launched in Gauteng. Outside that, what role was played by the provincial government? What role was played by the local municipalities in making sure that those who are affected are aware and they know what is expected of them? Lastly, Chair, would be the application form. Or is it a cumbersome process to apply to this thing? Or is it a user-friendly application form? We heard that it's manual and so on and so forth. And because I can give you now, without fear or favor, about 10 or 15 Spaza shops that I know, that I can tell you for free that they are not compliant, but they are operating because the local municipality is not hands-on. The local municipality, in terms of bylaws, are not effectively engaged. So all of these things, for me, Chair, I want us to, when we step off this issue, that we have cleaned this issue, and where we need to help the department, we should be doing so. So that tomorrow, when you go as the face of the select committee and communicate with the country, you are able to do so knowing that we have full support of the committee and we have the full inclination of what is it that the department is doing. Until then, Chair, it will be a futile exercise for me. And for that, I thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Modise. I see Honorable Makuna's hands up. Over to you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm at pains listening to the interactions because, in all the provinces that we are, one of the biggest outcries is the way that the Spaza shops where registrations were done. I interacted with Msunduzi municipality as well as a municipality in Ikopo with regards to this. You find that municipalities have got different ways or different systems or different requirements for Spaza shop registration. So I think one of the first points is maybe making sure that the department has exactly the same requirements for everyone in every province, in every municipalities. And then secondly, there was a system that the municipalities were using. It's an online system where once they've received the manual applications, they had to then upload it into an online registration system. There were several municipalities that said they found it very hard to work with that system. It will also go offline. It will not allow a full, if a Spaza shop is missing one aspect or one item, it will not allow any registration thereafter. So you found a lot of municipalities with papers and papers and of manual applications that are sitting on their floors, and basically people have filled in these documents. They think they've registered, whereas in fact they are not actually eligible or legally registered. And also, I think it's very important for the department to note that as a committee, when we come to these committees, we come with the knowledge or with the perception that when we get out of these meetings, we'll come out with answers that we can feed back to our constituencies. And I'm afraid that the department has really failed us. I don't think they were ready for this presentation. I don't think that they were ready for the kind of committee that we were, because I think as the NCOP, or in particular these committees that we are in, we are not political. We read these reports beforehand, we interact with the reports beforehand, and we put all politics aside, and we just want people to get what they deserve. And the department has absolutely failed us. And Chairperson, I can only support Honorable Modisa to say we really need them to come back, and they must really have sharp responses and know their story when they come back, because I feel like we are defeated as members. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Makuna. DDG and Mr. Makupela, sorry for that. It is clear that it would appear as if your responses and the presentation that has been tabled was a little lackluster. There is so much more that could have been done to appease the members of this committee. There are so many questions that have gone unanswered. And what I think we must do, with the indulgence of the committee members, is to find a spot. Mardia, you must now listen carefully, please, for a possible slot outside our normal committee periods that has been assigned to us to interact specifically only on the Spaza Shop Fund, and that the questions that were posed by members also be entertained on that specific day. But I don't want it to be left until the end of the term. This must be done like in next week, if we can find a slot. Members are representing their various provinces, and we have, as Honorable Modise said, and the Honorable other members said, nothing to take back to our constituents. I am very, very disappointed in what was presented to us today, and I'm asking whether the members are happy with us trying to slot in a period after our normal committee periods with the approval from our chair of committees and the House chair and our chief whip. Unfortunately, in the NCOP, we have so many people that have to sign off before approval is given. So if I could hear from the members whether we can go ahead with that. I don't want to take a unilateral decision. So could I have hands up for a proposal and a seconder on that? Honorable Makuna, I see your hand is up.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'd like to propose for an immediate meeting next week. Thank you.
Honorable Pinar, Honorable Mabilu, let's
Thank you,
just hear your...
Chairperson.
Okay, there's a proposal and a seconder. Before we go ahead with that, can I just hear from Honorable Mabilu and Honorable Nodada their take on
No,
it?
Thank you, Chair. I rose to support the proposal that there's a need for us to meet as urgent as possible to dispose of this matter, which is contentious. Thank you very much, Honourable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honourable Mabilo. Honourable Nodada.
Thank you, Chairperson. I was going to support or to second that the meeting should be next week and it should be physical so that we meet with them physically. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much for the support, honourable members. Mardia, I hope you have captured it as such, so that we can see whether we can slot in a meeting with the DGG, the DG, and everybody, even if it is after our normal hours, that you explain to the powers that be the importance of this meeting and why we're asking for it. I see Honourable Farmer's hand has gone up. I don't know if he wants to add something to that. Honourable Farmer?
Yeah, thank you, Chairperson. Sorry, man, but I think it might be necessary for a political leader to also be present of the department.
Could you repeat that? I lost you for a moment. Who must be present?
I think, Chairperson, one of the political heads of the department would also need to be present at that meeting. The Minister or the Deputy Minister.
The Deputy Minister is present today. The DG is also present, but she asked that the DDG take us through as her network wasn't very stable. So from the department, we had everybody available and the DM is here. And I'm sure that Mardia will extend the invitation to both the DM and the Minister to attend this meeting. And DM, before we close, I'm going to give over to you to give us your closing remarks so that we can carry on with the rest of the program. You have now heard the disappointment by the members of this committee with reference to the department's presentation, and I would also like you to take it up with them so that we are in a better position next week when we engage with them. Over to you, DM.
Thank you very much, Chairperson and members of the committee, and also to the DDG and our representative from SETFAM for the presentations that they made and the answers. Chairperson, when we meet, because there is time allocation to a meeting, to how much time we have, I feel like the department must prepare more information, because as members are asking questions, for example, what is the role of the municipality? Are municipalities involved? There's a whole part that shows in terms of how we interact with those municipalities and COGTA. Like, for example, when they ask about the whether, Spaza Shop will have to close down if they don't have a license, but they have applied, and the problem is still on the side of government. Do we close them down? Do we not? The COGTA has appointed health inspectors, 10 per district. All those things are not covered in our presentation because largely, if you remember, after we had the unfortunate incident in our country of children dying, may their souls continue to rest in peace. The process is actually led by COGTA. It's led by Minister Tlhabisa in terms of, he was the first one to publish those regulations of how food handling should be dealt with in our municipalities. And I think if we merge the presentations, DG and DDG and SETFA, so that members can really have a full picture, because now they are living without answers, because they are not part of our weekly, especially from NCOP. They are not privy to weekly information in terms of how we interact with other spheres of government and how we are doing that particularly. And I think that gap was clearly left today. Hence, most of the information is available. I will not repeat it, Chair, for the sake of time, but if we are going to at least allow the department to rather present longer or bring more information than, a quick presentation that has left many gaps. and rightly so, because the members of the NCP don't have this information. And indeed, Chair, we continue to account to this committee, and we are the money that we are using is public money. So the money that we are using is people's taxes. Hence, we need to come here and account for it. And I would plead with the committee that if they can just allow the department that the next meeting, the physical meeting, that the department will prepare a full presentation in terms of who has which role and how are we interacting that, and also the specifics of how the progress is actually going forward, and indeed to close those gaps so that members don't leave with these gaps of not knowing what to say to their constituents where they came from. Thank you very much for this. I believe what the contributions that have been made are going to help us a lot in terms of us constructing what would be a full, really, presentation to this committee when we meet physically. I want to thank the members for their contribution, and again, the DG and the team, and particularly the DDG that did the presentation, and SETFA, so that we deal with these challenges head on and we don't move around something that we are unable to answer, because there are also questions that I wouldn't understand why there's no answer. So let's meet physically and deal with those matters to the members' satisfaction. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, DM. Normally, I don't come in after the minister or the deputy minister has spoken, but I've just been alerted to the fact, honourable members, that next week, Honourable Mabilu, Honourable Sithole, Honourable Dlamini, and Madia herself are affected by the mediation committee with regard to the National Gambling Amendment Bill that was referred back from the 4th, 5th, 6th Parliament. And then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we are meeting after the sitting of both houses. And then next week, we also have Kokta and Salga, and Kokta specifically briefing us on the Spaza Shop registration. So I don't know. Can the members give me an indication then? What about the week after next week? Madia, can I ask you to come in just to give us some information with regard to the meetings and where a possibility exists of slotting us in for a physical meeting? And then I see Honourable Mabilu and Honourable Farmer's hands are up. Can I ask them to indicate what they want to say before Madia speaks? Honourable Mabilu?
Mine was a legacy, and sorry, I've lowered it.
Thank you. Honourable Mabilu? Okay,
I've lowered my hand. Yeah, I've lowered. Sorry, apology. I lowered my hand. It was our legacy hand.
It's
Sorry,
still
apology.
up, Honourable Mabilu, but not to worry. Madia, can you come in?
Yes, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Chair, as indicated, the committee, there are 3 members of our committee that are also members of the mediation committee. And unfortunately, in terms of the rules, that committee has only got 30 days within which to conclude its business, and that committee will be sitting, I believe, until a certain point mid-June. Next week, we do have, in terms of the committee's program, we've got 2 items on the agenda. The first one is briefing by the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs on the South African Local Government Association on the capacity of local government to fulfill its mandate in respect of local economic development. That's the first item. The second item on the agenda is briefing by Kokta on mechanisms in place to monitor the registration on Spaza shops. So Kokta and Salga is coming next week already, and they have confirmed that they are coming next week as well to brief the committee on some of those issues. So I think some of the questions from members, as they indicated, that need to go to Kokta will also be responded to in that meeting. Chair, in terms of the other meetings that, like I said, the few of our committee members are impacted by, most of those meetings are after hours. So having an out-of-slot meeting, it's going to be a bit difficult, but we'll check where we can find space in the committee's program for that in-person meeting, follow-up meeting with small business on this issue, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Yes, it will be good if we can compare what Kota and Salga say to us with what SDB is saying in respect of our Spaza shops. So if you could look into that for us and alert the members ASAP, and of course the necessary permission being granted to us by the powers that be. Members, I think we'll then wait for Madia to get back to us on this, and we'll take it from there. And then may I ask the department, if they so wish, they may be excused, as well as our Deputy Minister, and thank you for attending this meeting. We really appreciate it, and your responses on the lack of information provided by the department. If we could go to point number 5, Madia, the APP that was forwarded to all the members on the 14th of May, if I remember correctly.
Chair, that would be something that our content advisor, Mr. Shuba, will take us through. He must just let me know if he wants me to flag the APP that was circulated.
Okay, over to you. Leduma?
Thank you, Chair. Madia can flight the APP, but in my from my side, I think it would be much more of a quicker exercise in the sense that members have received the APP. But I would request if Chair, through you, we just for instance, if members have an issue on a particular page, then they can raise that. That's my request from my side.
Thank you, Leduma. That makes sense. Honourable members, the concept draft document was sent to us by Leduma on the 14th of May, and I take it that you have had the opportunity to go through it. If there are any additions or questions for clarity on this APP of ours, please indicate as such by raising your hands. Thank you.
Matt, you can move to the second page. This page will be cleaned from my side. If it's more of a standard parliamentary and vision and mission, so it's not a serious matter that much. Next page, my dear. Next page. Next page. Next page. Members, do they have anything on this page 6 and 5? If none, next page, my dear. Next page. Next page. Next page. Next page, if there are no comments. Next page. Next page. Next page. Also, this is going to be cleared from my side if there are no comments from the members. On this one, we're just looking at to update, waiting for the actual tabling of the budget. That's the spending. We could update this one when, for instance, when the budget is passed by Parliament. Next page, my dear. I think that's it from my side, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Laduma, and thank you to you and your team for a comprehensive report. I know it must have taken quite some time, but it is appreciated. Members, just so that you know, the strat plan will be ready by Friday, so you will have the weekend to go through it. And because that also has to be adopted. Now, with regard to the APP, are there any hands for clarity or additions or inputs, etc.? Honorable Modise, I see your hand is up.
Thank you so much. Do we have to adopt the APPs as a committee, or do we have to wait until Friday?
Mardia, could you just lead us in that, please?
Chair, we can adopt it now. We don't necessarily, because those are two separate items. There's the APP and the stat plan. And I think that given the fact that we've got time today, if members are in a position and are able to adopt it today, then I would recommend that we adopt it today. Because obviously we will also need to create space for the committee to adopt the stat plan. And as members, as indicated earlier, next week, Wednesday's program is quite packed. And we do have a deadline for submission to House Chairperson's office next week, Thursday, the 5th of June. So there is a bit of a time crunch in terms of the submission of these, the stat plan and the APP to House Chairperson's office. Members.
Thank you, Mardia.
If that's the case, then Chairperson, seeing that there were no additions that were made since the presentation of the APPs and when they were sent to us to make any amendments, additions, and all of that, I therefore move for the adoption of the APPs as presented. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Modise. Honorable Pinot.
Seconded, Chairperson.
Thank you very much for that. Okay, Laduma, well done. Your APP has been adopted. And thank you for everybody's input. I see Honorable van der Berg's hands up.
Thank you, Chair. I don't want to change the decision. I'm just asking that on page 16, you must, on point number 2, just change trade balance with Chinese. It's China. It's just a spelling mistake. Thank you.
Okay, no, that Laduma can do. Thank you very much. Okay, Mardia, then we have our set of minutes.
Yes, thank you, Chair, and thank you, members. Members, we've got 2 sets of minutes. The first is on the 14th of May, and the second is on the 20th of May. If I can share my screen.
Okay, members, just check your whether your name is spelled correctly and whether you were present or whether you submitted an apology. And then we can go through it page by page. Thank you. Page 2. Page 3. I just want to say I have gone through it and I didn't pick up anything. Page 4. Page 5. And that is that. Could I have a proposer and a seconder for those minutes?
Member Modise move for the adoption of the minutes as presented.
Thank you, Honorable Modise. Honorable Nodada.
I second the adoption of the minutes, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nodada. I think, Honorable Mabilu, you wanted to second, but it has now been passed. Thank you. Or do you have something that you wish
No,
to?
thank you, Chair. No, thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Modia, you can flight the other minutes. Okay, the same as the previous minutes. Just check for yourself. This was the very short meeting that we had with the UK parliamentary delegation. Fine, you can go to page 2. Page 3. And that is that. Mover and a seconder, please. Honorable Mabilu.
As indicated, that was a very short and fruitful meeting. I formally propose we adopt the minutes of that meeting. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. A seconder, please.
Honorable Sithole seconds.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sithole. Madia, thank you to you and your team for the minutes that were captured properly. I know it's always difficult to get home and then to write minutes, etc., etc. So we appreciate what you have done as well. Honorable Farmer, I see your hand is up.
Yes, Chairperson, and as much as it pains me, but I need to make a counter proposal. That minutes does not reflect our meeting. Can Maria please flight it again, Chair?
Madia, just flight the minutes again.
Sorry, Chair, just give me 1 minute. I'll do it right now. Sorry, members, I closed that. Just give me 1 second. I will open it right now.
Okay, Honorable Farmer, if you can just indicate where the discrepancy lies.
I will do so as soon as we get there, Chair.
Okay, which page would you like us to go to?
She can just scroll up. I will tell her to stop. The issue I've raised, Chairperson, is not there. With a delegation.
Are you talking about the Crown and the land issue?
Yes, Chair, it's not there.
Okay, I hear that. Madia, would you be able to just...
Yes, Chair, we will amend the minutes. My apologies, Mr. Farmer. We will amend the minutes and include that item. I'm sorry, we must have just missed it, but we will amend the minutes and include that item.
Sorry about that. Seeing that there's an addition to the minutes, could I please have a new proposer and a seconder?
I will propose that the minutes not be adopted, Chair.
Okay, Madia, we have a proposer that it not be adopted. Who will second that? Honorable van den Berg.
Chair, I'm sure that Honorable Farmer wants to make sure that it is in there, and if it did happen, I will second, although I was not on the meeting.
Okay, you can't second that if you were not at the meeting.
Honorable Chair, please second.
Is that Honorable Sithole?
Yes.
All right. Mardia, we have a counter proposal. So could we please insert that and then bring the minutes back to the next meeting?
Chair, I've just put something in there now. I'm not sure if members just want to have a look at it, or if Mr. Farmer wants us to take more time just to include that item.
Could you flight it for us? Okay, Honorable Farmer.
No, it's not. It's not showing for some.
It's not showing. Okay, please can we then attend to this with the addition of Honorable Farmer's input on the day, and then. Sorry,
Chair.
Laduma, let me just finish this, and then we can have it presented to us at the next meeting. Honorable, sorry, Laduma.
No, thank you, Chair. I was going to request through you, Chair, if Honorable Farmer can just frame it. How can we lift the issue that he is raising, so that when we sit down trying to fine tune, we have a better, fresh understanding, so that we frame it much better, so that we accommodate Mr. Farmer's input.
Okay, thank you for that, Laduma. I'm sure Mardia has captured it as Honourable Farmer would like it to be captured. If you could just have a look at that, Honourable Farmer, point 4, and see if there's anything else that you would like added.
No, Chairperson, it does not. My question I raised was the attitude of the UK and the Commonwealth towards the indigenous peoples, with specific reference to what happens in New Zealand, or what is busy happening in New Zealand, and also with us. I also referred to our indigenous peoples claiming their land back with letters by the Crown. I also made reference, for instance, to the issue that the Crown gave land away that never belonged to them to give away. So that point written there doesn't really capture the point I was trying to make, Chair.
Okay, that makes complete sense. Mardia, were you able to capture what Honourable Farmer said, or would you like him? Okay, then it's fine.
Chair, we will correct it and then send it back to members, Chair. Apologies once again to Mr. Farmer.
No, perfect. They say to err is human, but to forgive is divine. We will then take what Honourable Farmer said and insert it into the minutes, and then we can adopt it at our next meeting. Before we close the meeting, is there anything else anybody would like to have discussed?
Before you close, maybe still perhaps connected to the same issue. I know what I've said, but what the answers that were given by the Lord in the delegation would probably now be missed, or not remembered. But maybe there's an issue for recordings for our meetings, for instance.
I don't know if we were allowed to record, because when we met with the delegation of MPs from India today, we were not allowed to record at all. So I don't know if such a request was sent through to Mardia and the staff, but we can definitely have a look into that. Mardia, if you, after Honourable Mabilu, could just answer. Honourable Mabilu?
No, it's not question is just a recommendation and an observation that in future, so that we don't land or find ourselves in the situation, there must be provision for matters arising. Because in my view, the matter that Honorable Farmer is raising is supposed to be taken care of under matters of matters arising. But it has been a format of our meetings where we have not made provision for matters arising. So I'm just saying for future, in order not to land in the situation, let's ask for matters arising, if there are any, and be attended to. But secondly, in meeting procedures, any omission doesn't stand over for the next meeting. It is dealt with in that meeting. That's why there's a move and a seconder to say, I second the minutes with the amendments effected. So that then do we become efficient and effective in terms of our decision taking without necessarily deferring. So I will be comfortable today with the deferment of the minutes, but in terms of meeting procedures, that is not necessary because issues are dealt with at that point in time. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Okay. Honorable Mabilu, with regard to Honorable Farmer's input, it wasn't a matter arising, it was something that was not captured correctly. And the Honorable Farmer has indicated that he would prefer the minutes to be tabled at a next meeting. And I have acceded to that, so we will take it to the next meeting after it has been captured by the Secretariat, resubmitted to us, and then Honorable Farmer can please have a look at it and indicate to the Secretariat whether he is in favor of the capturing or not. Is that okay with you, Honorable Farmer?
It certainly is, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mardia, we have it as such, and in light of what has now been discussed and finalized, I shall adjourn the meeting. Have a great evening to all of the members. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much.
Recording stopped.
Thank you, Farmer. Thank you, Farmer. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Siton.
Thank you, Ndate Mabilu.
Thank you. I can now eat supper now.
All right.